Hi, so today I want to talk about the present moment and the past and the future. I think a lot of us, I don't know many people that don't do this really, we tend to dwell too much into the past or present ourselves too much into the future, and I am a sucker for this. You know, we can kind of often look back at the past and what ifs, or we can look too much on the future and what the future is going to bring, and we're not really living in the present moment, and our ego can really interfere with this and kind of make us believe that we are not successful, or we're not fulfilling our lives enough, or we're not happy enough, or we don't have this enough or that enough, and it is all stemmed from the ego. And if we realise that to live in the present moment and to really live in stillness and enjoy every second that we are fully living within that present moment, there is so much joy there, but it's about learning to retrain the brain and to realise that the present moment is all we have. You know, you can't go back to the past. The past is done. You can't make changes to the past. You can't go back in time and redo things, but you can learn from them. And you can't go too far into the future, because the future can change and anything can happen. And it doesn't matter whether you plan something in a year's time. Things can change. I mean, just look at this virus with COVID. When we were all kind of making our New Year's resolutions or celebrating on New Year, none of us knew what was in store. And so we had all these future plans for this year, and they have all gone out of the window. And that's a prime example of when it's so crucial to live in the present moment and enjoy the moment for what it is. We can get far too caught up on what we need to be doing months ahead and planning, and yes, in some cases you do need to plan into the future, and sometimes you want to look back at old memories and learn from them. But in order for you to fulfill yourself and your full potential and to be your happiest self, your true happy self, the living in the present moment is the best way to go, because you're actually experiencing everything in front of you. You're living for what you are in the now. You're experiencing and focusing on every joy that you're going through, and you're learning as you follow your path, rather than kind of keep going back into the past, which, in all honesty, the past can cause a hell of a lot of anxiety. It can cause a lot of discontent. It can cause a lot of frustration. It can cause a lot of regret. You know, if there's things that maybe you didn't like about your past, then you're living in this kind of wheel, really. It's kind of like this circular motion of going back and back. Oh, what if I did this? What if I did that? If only I hadn't done this. And you're not actually able to move on and heal, because you're too much in the past. And when you go into the future, you're looking so far ahead that you're kind of planning things that, as I said, can completely change. And you're using a hell of a lot of energy for things that from a flip of a coin could completely change. So this is why to train your mind to live in the present moment is the best thing you can do for your own well-being, for your own joy, for your own happiness. It helps to relieve anxiety, because you're kind of living in that moment and you're only stepping into each stage of that day, rather than trying to zoom ahead. And then you get so full of, oh my gosh, I've got to do this. Oh my gosh, I've got to do that, because there's so many things that you're thinking about for the future. Even the next week ahead, you know, we can get overwhelmed. And so it's really important to focus on that one day and what you've got to do within that day. You will find that this will bring you so much more calmness and stillness. And if you do struggle with this, you can do meditations about living within the present moment, you know, being still, going within and really focusing on what is making you happy within that daytime, appreciating what you have. You know, gratitude is the highest form for manifestation. You know, I often talk about manifestation, but unless you are completely grateful for what you have within the present moment, then manifesting can be incredibly hard to do. And we all do it. Oh my gosh, we all do it. I'm no different from anybody else. We can kind of go into that negative spiral where we're not always out positive and we're thinking this and that. And then you have to snap out of it. And it's really important to kind of retrain the brain to actually say, no, Stop. As soon as a negative thought comes to mind, you reverse it and you just go back into that present moment and you think, I am grateful. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my abundance that I already have, because the more grateful you are for the present moment, the more likely you are going to have more abundance come your way. And living in the past and dwelling on what didn't work out, or living too far into the future, which you can't change, you can't predict right now because things can change. And also we have paths that we can choose. So when I do readings for people, of course, as a psychic, you can see into the future to a certain extent. There are things that I pick up on even within my own life. I kind of get that inkling that something might happen, and with clients. However, we have paths that we can choose, and so you have free will. So even if I was to do a reading and I would predict something within the future for you, that can change because you can choose another path. So it's very important to stay within the present moment. Even if you are getting future predictions, or you are looking at future projects or things that you're looking at doing, things can change. Paths can change. I'm going to give an example here. We were moving house, and it was very, very close to things kind of progressing, and we had a buyer, and we thought that everything was running along smoothly, and we were hoping that we'd have a moving date, and within the split of a few hours, everything changed and we lost our buyer, and things didn't work out with the property that we wanted. And in actual fact, that property now, I've noticed, is sold. And I kind of felt that maybe it would be the property we'd move to. But this is my example of when you shouldn't go too far into the future. You can kind of like imagine yourself being in this position. And I know that it was the universe's way of protecting me, because there were certain things about that property that I was a little unsure about. And so clearly it was, how I said about doors closing and redirecting you into a better direction. This is what I mean about the future. You can kind of get too het up into the future and how you want things to be, but the universe has a different plan for us. And this is why it's so important to always live in that present moment and enjoy everything for what it is now, and embrace what you have now. Enjoy, be grateful and embrace, because what you have now will bring you the most joy, is what I'm trying to say, I think, here. So I hope that you got a lot from this video. If you do need help with kind of trying to stay in the present moment, a lot of us have past trauma, past emotional pain that needs releasing, and energy that is trapped that needs releasing. And so it's really important for us to clear that. And this is something that I work on with clients. So if it's something that you need help with living in the present moment, I do a lot of healing for clients with this, with success. So please do contact me if you need help. Okay, thanks very much. Bye.